Well, shocking details have emerged at the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial. DNA collected from the infamous hat at the murder scene does not match any of the suspects. And forensic expert, that's Mmampshe Masetla, was testifying in Pretoria just yesterday. But he continues giving evidence this morning. So let's, of course, to our senior reporter, Slindelo Masikane, for the latest regarding what's to be expected in court this morning. Slee, a very warm good morning to you. Cross-examination regarding Zungu, I understand, has now concluded.
Certainly so. We began court proceedings yesterday with the defense, in particular Advocate Zandile Mshololo for accused number 5, concluding her cross-examination of Constable Sizwe Zungu. And of course, over the past couple of weeks, we have seen the defense, in essence, trying to poke holes in his story with regards to how he says that he was with the 5 men in the dock on the night Senzo Meyiwa was shot and killed at a hostel in Vosloorus. We then saw the state attempting to then call its next witness, which was going to be a cell phone data expert, who was going to, of course, then give testimony with regards to downloads from phones that allegedly belong to accused number 5 as well as accused number 2. Now, that particular evidence was then opposed by the defense, saying that at this stage the complete downloads from those phones have not been received by the defense, and it said that it would prejudice the accused as well as their right to a fair trial to have the testimony of the cell phone data expert heard without the defense having proper time to consult on these downloads and preparing an adequate defense for their clients. So the defense then opposed this, and this was allowed by the judge. Let's take a listen to some of what was said by some of the lawyers during court proceedings when they did object to the evidence of the cell phone data expert.
3 years now, but cell phone records are not yet ready, my lord. Now, the problem that we have with this kind of an approach is that each time we put a version to the witnesses that the states are calling, they come up with something new. Then come the next witness, we are also expected to put a different version from the first version that we would have put to the witness, on the basis of which we couched our defense based on the information that would have been available then, my lord. This prejudices the accused person's defense in their case, my lord, because at the end of it all, we are going to argue about the credibility and the honesty and the reliability of what these witnesses are saying, my lord. It seems to me like the state was not ready from the beginning. And if that is the case, my lord, it is not an embarrassment for the state to stand up and say, my lord, we are still busy investigating this case. We're therefore requesting a very long postponement of this case. I don't think any colleague of us was going to object on that one, my lord, because then we would know that come that point, after that very long postponement, then we know that the state would have said, you know what, we've got all the information now. This is going to be a machine and a train that is going to run from Pretoria to Durban without any stops and goes, my lord. But as things are now, I can tell this court, my lord, from the solitude of my conscience, that we are yet expecting another surprise in terms of new evidence that is going to come up from somewhere, and that is going to necessitate this stop-and-go issue, my lord, which I say in the main is prejudicing the manner in which we are couching the defense on behalf of our clients, my lord.
Well, Slee, I understand we're still continuing to hear evidence from one of the experts. If I stand to be corrected, there's a forensic expert at this point, Mr. Masetla.
So that was the next witness that was called by the state to take to the witness box. And we are now hearing evidence in terms of the forensic items, forensic evidence that was collected from the crime scene, DNA that was also collected from those who were in the house, as well as the accused. We know that DNA analysis was then done on the exhibits which were collected at the scene, swabs that were taken from door handles, from wall tiles, from blood splatter in the kitchen as well as in the lounge, and that of course has then been compared to the DNA of the accused and those who were allegedly the intruders in the house. What was quite interesting was to hear some of the results of that DNA analysis with some of the items which of course were found in the house, in particular the alcohol cans. We know that one of the beer cans, the DNA matched that of Senzo Meyiwa. We know the blood splatters as well matched that of Senzo Meyiwa's DNA. We know that Zandile Khumalo's DNA was found on one of the alcohol cider cans as well. What was quite interesting was to note that there was not enough DNA found on the crutches which belonged to Dumelo Madlala that matched his DNA. We also know that there was DNA from the door handles that matched that of Gladness Khumalo, which is Kelly Khumalo and Zandile Khumalo's mother. But there was no DNA found of Kelly Khumalo in terms of the items that were swabbed. But interestingly, of course, there was a hat which was found in the kitchen, which was allegedly left by one of the intruders, one of the two intruders that were in that house on that fateful evening. And we've heard testimony from police officers who say that those who were in the house claimed that that particular hat belonged to one of the two intruders that came into the house that evening. Now, what we've heard from the forensic expert is that there is an XY chromosome that's been found inside that hat. And according to the forensic expert, it does not match the DNA of those who are accused, who are in the dock. But I think what we're going to see happening today is more granular detail around this XY chromosome, because one of the submissions made was that that particular chromosome could mean that there's more than one male DNA, or that there is male and female DNA that's been found in that hat. We know that the state in particular is leading evidence that's circumstantial. So while the DNA that's found in the hat seemingly excludes the accused, it does seem as though there is something that may link one of those in the dock to that particular hat. But let's just take a listen to that submission by the forensic expert with regards to the hat.
And my lord, what I've suggested to the state is that we then pause with dealing with the evidence relating to the cell phone and then continue with other evidence until we receive that cell phone evidence, my lord, so that I will be able to consult properly. Because if my lord, this evidence were of Mkhane was going to be allowed, it means now I will have to consult in piecemeal evidence, and also I won't be in a position to construct a proper defense regarding the evidence of the cell phone that the state is intending to lead. Hence, I'm asking, my lord, that this evidence of the cell phone evidence relating to Mkhane and all other witnesses be paused at this stage up until such time when I am finished with the Section 205 records.
And then we also have swab 12 from Hienegen, and then that particular swab included the deceased. So those particular swab from the bottles is the ones that you swab where the person drinks. Is then that you will know who was handling that particular exhibit. And then there is a Scotch head, and then on that particular Scotch head that was found on the scene, that particular Scotch head excludes the suspect.
So, Slee, then what can we expect today?
Well, we are expecting that the forensic expert will be continuing with their evidence in chief, and perhaps if there is, of course, enough time, then we will be hearing the defense then going straight into the cross-examination of the evidence that's been presented.
All right, and we'll, of course, bring our viewers live inside court as soon as proceedings do commence this morning. ENC senior reporter Slindelo Masikane, thank you so much, colleague, for that update.